Welcome to mission number 9 and potentially the very last mission in this campaign if we win it. So if you'll recall, in mission number 8 we got the item that Miles was seeking this entire time, and they were very excited. They helped save a merchant, and he was very happy, and he was able to give them this item they needed. So they're on their way back to the Collegium Carnus, and he's so excited that his superior Leeler is going to be happy to have that item back, and all will go well. We have, the goal was 5 wins for the campaign, and we have 4 wins currently. So let's see if we can win this one. But the odds are not entirely in our favor. Things are going to be a little rough for us. So they are sleeping. They found some ruins in the forest, and they are sleeping for the night. And Reich was out being their guard, essentially. Well, they hear some struggle, and Reich is nowhere to be found right now. And they realize that they are being ambushed by none other than the Pumpkin Gang. That's right, they have fully activated their Halloween demon. There's the leader, Pumpkin King, over there. There's a muscular guy. There's a sniper up in the tree, and then coming over here, they're getting ambushed over here by the Flamer guy. So they are not in a good way. We are playing the number 1 AI mission called Here They Come. But instead of having objectives, we're just doing kill. Because these guys the Pumpkin Gang wants revenge on them, and they want to take them captive. And so essentially, our guys are not going to be dying, quote unquote, if they die in this mission. They will be knocked unconscious and then enslaved, essentially. Our first activation, Lancer, was already basically facing this way. Narratively, I just moved her a little bit, but he was in her 180 degree arc. She shot that sniper right there, took a damage off him, or a hit point off him, I mean, and gave him bleeding. So that's excellent. They all have their own AI. They all want something different. The sniper will get 3 victory points, actually 4 if he can kill Miles, which is a ton. And those 3 guys all over there want to fight Gil and kill Gil. And this guy over here wants to kill a ranged person. So they all have, but they get 3 victory points for doing that instead of just 1. So that's pretty nuts. We need to come out swinging. So he's got a wound and a bleeding. Their first activation was the Pumpkin King right there. He had to kind of get out of the way of the Halloween demon. So he moved up, gave himself a time slip, and then gave the muscle guy an aura. Next activation is Gil. He ran from right over here back around here, and honestly it sounds cowardly, but they are going to score 3. Any one of those 3 people on the ground over there want to kill Gil, and they will get 3 victory points instead of 1 if we kill him. We cannot afford to lose this battle. Next we activate the Halloween demon. He moves and runs all the way over here seeking Gil out, but luckily old Gabby, she just rolled a 3 and not the required 5 to get in base contact, and that charge is their free action for this turn. So luckily Gil is safe for another turn. We decided that Dunch should probably try to kill this sniper before he takes out Miles. Now the guy does have a bleeding token, but Dunch was able to do a confuse to him and remove another hit point. The confused I didn't even bother with, because as soon as this guy activates, he's going to lose that hit point because of bleeding. So he's dead. He's just straight up dead. Their Flamer moved up, and he did 2 unsaved wounds on poor Luna and gave her 2 burning tokens. So hopefully we don't roll a 1 or 10 when she activates next. Miles is our next activation. He moves up and can see Gil through this window right here. He puts 2 time slips on Gil, puts a movement blocking barrier, and then puts another movement blocking barrier over here. So he's trying to shore up our loose ends. Their last activation has the muscle guy moving and running. He ran the full 6 inches after he moved 6 inches. Luckily the movement barrier did block him. He had to move over that rock there in order to go around it. So he probably would have been about 2 or 3 inches, probably 3 inches closer if it weren't for our barrier there. Now it's time for Luna's activation. She's got 2 burning tokens. Go ahead and roll the dice right here. No! A 1 or 10 kills our buddy Luna. She just goes up in flames.
Nobody told me.
That is sad. So they get 1 victory point. Nobody wanted to actually kill a fast like Luna. So that's just 1 victory point. So it's 1-0 in favor of them. Their last activation on this turn sees the sniper guy in the tree just bleed out while he's confused. He falls down onto the ground, lifeless. We had the same number of models dead, so they won the roll-off. And his whole thing is he wants to kill ranged people. So he aimed at Dunch through that window. He could just barely see Dunch, but he does get rear arc, and he rerolls all of his hits because he's got a pistolier and 2 6-inch shots. He ended up getting 6 hits on Dunch, but luckily Dunch was in full cover, and only 1 of them went through. He did a burning to him, which is -1 willpower, and he lost 1 hit point, so he's now at 3. So, not too bad. So, in a crazy, crazy turn of events, we decided because these guys, those 3, get 3 points for killing Gil, and this guy would only get 1, we might as well just take our chances and activate Gil, run him around here. He got a 7-inch charge, got that off, and he's got 2 time slips. He's attacking from behind, and he's a fighter, so he goes first. And he just straight up murdered this guy. This is that guy's 3 armor saves. So he completely whiffs everything and is murdered in cold blood. Gil is a stone cold killer. Their next activation finds the fighter move and charge appears successfully into Lancer. I had forgotten that he's actually a zealot, so he starts with 1 time slip token at the beginning of each turn. So he failed 1 save in close combat, but we used the time slip to save that. And he was able to do 2 wounds unsaved to Lancer, unfortunately. He disarmed her, and I think he gave her a fracture, -2 movement. Plus the aura there, that aura token over there also applied. So this is looking a little rough. I don't know, this is a very extreme game. People just die left and right. Dunch, not being very smart, but being quite loyal, decides that he does not like at all the fact that this bruiser came up here and punched Lancer in the face. He aims, and he also gets +1 to hit anyway because he's so leveled up. And he does 2 hits and 2 unsaved damage onto this bruiser. Now, there's a couple things I'm waiting for when we roll for this damage. Number 1, Dunch is a shredder, so we're going to be... those 2 wounds are going to do 4 wound chart rolls, and he uses crushing. If we do knock down, he is actually above 3 inches, and he will take a crushing wound chart roll in addition if he does a knockdown. So we're actually going to roll this now. You can roll it, Gabby. And we're hoping that one of these is a 10. Roll right here. Oh, close. You know what? Let me consult the chart. 7 might be knocked down on the crushing. 7 is knocked down on the crushing. So we got a trauma, so we can reduce his armor to nothing, basically. We got a -2 willpower from the bludgeoning, and we got a -2 dexterity from broken ribs, and then we've got a knockdown. So we got to record all of that, but go ahead and roll 1 more crushing wound chart roll, because he's going to fall off this ledge. Roll high. And a 5. He gets another bludgeoning. This poor guy is at -4 willpower now. He did not die, but he's falling all the way down here at 1 hit point left, and that's kind of hilarious. So he's all the way down there, and he is completely messed up now. The next one they activate is the Halloween Demon. He moves and uses a free action to run, and then successfully charges all the way up here and just beats Lancer to death. Crushes her, bludgeons her. She is actually able to get 1 punch in edgewise and deals a wound to him, unsaved. But other than that, she gets clobbered and is dead. The score is now 2-2. This is extremely close. Alright, Miles quickly passes his dex check, jumps all the way down here, and runs over here. He casts a successful movement blocking barrier here. He casts one right there, and then he refreshes his 2 time slips on Gil just in case the monster gets to him somehow. The Pumpkin King uses his movement and his combat phase to move and run all the way over here, trying to close in. At the beginning of turn 3, the score is 2-2, and I have to tell you, Dunch has been the MVP of this entire campaign, I gotta tell you. He decides to stand his ground. He ain't afraid of no ghost. He ain't afraid of no pumpkin. He aims and shoots, and believe it or not, he gets a knockdown on the monster. He does 1 unsaved damage to it, but he gets a knockdown, and it falls all the way to the ground and gets broken ribs and he concusses it and something else. So he did 1 damage to it and a bunch of negatives, -2 dexterity, -2 willpower. Pretty darn hilarious. Using their free action this turn, he gets up and then he moves. He fails his charge, but he actually uses one of his time slips to make the charge. And they battle it out, and unfortunately Gil's not able to hurt him at all, even though he strikes first. And he's able to do 2 damage off Gil. Gil is naturally 4 hit points. And what he does to Gil is a trauma, is what he does. So he rolled a 1, and then he also rolled a trauma. So he gets -3 to Gil's armor save, making him a 1 from now on. And this guy didn't even have to use his second time slip. And this guy's only at 1 hit point. So this is not good. Unfortunately for them, I don't think this monster can fit through any of these areas. I'll have to measure that hole right here. But I don't know if he can go through there, under there, and over there. I'm not sure. Although this is also an option over here. So who knows, but we'll see. We decided that being that Gil had 2 hit points left, and this guy only had 1, and Gil fights first, we could probably kill this guy with Gil. Unfortunately, we were only able to do 1 unsaved damage to him, and he saved that with a time slip. He strikes back and deals an unsaved wound to Gil, because Gil's save is only a 1 now. Gabby, let's roll on the wound chart for this, and I pray that it is not a 10 or Gil is dead. Whew! Okay, so we got a -2 willpower, a bludgeon on poor Gil. But hey, he's not dead. For their next activation, the Halloween demon is able to get up and runs, passing his dex check to climb all the way up here. And he is just bound and determined to eat Gil. Our last activation for turn 3 is Miles, and unfortunately, he is not able to keep the barriers up. He fails that, so he takes a damage because he's a fanatic. And he is able to get the time slip on Gil. So now, this feels like they are all set to kill poor Gil, but he does have 2 time slips on him. So let's see what they can do there. The last person this turn is the leader that they have. The Pumpkin King moves around, and he unsuccessfully does an aura on this guy right here, but he takes a wound to make it go off. Then he does time slip and fails that as well, and he does not fudge that one. Alright, at the top of turn 4, we are going to blow one of our faction feats, and we're going to say that Gil is looking especially terrifying, and he cannot be target of charges this turn. So, unfortunately, that puts a real cramp on the Pumpkin Gang style. I've been holding off on this feat this whole time, because I was really hoping to use it in a clutch move like this. So nobody can charge Gil on this last turn of the game. So the Halloween Demon charges Dunch, and he's able to save all the attacks from the Pumpkin King, and I mean the Halloween Demon, and Dunch does nothing back to him. Well, just because nobody can charge him does not mean Gil can't be a little risky and charge their leader. He actually does 2 unsaved wounds to him. No, I should take that back. He does 1 unsaved wound to him and rolls a 10 on the wound chart, decapitating their leader and scoring us 2 points. So now the score is 2-4, and Gil can still not be charged. Part of the reason why Gil did this is to also protect their leader from that muscle man over there. So let's see what they have left. Looks like the muscle man is probably going to have to go for Dunch. As can be expected, Macho Man jumps up there and has to end up using one of his time slips to hit Dunch 3 times. Dunch loses 2 hit points, and he gets a -1 willpower, -2 movement, fractures and whatnot from getting beat up. And Dunch is able to strike back at him, doing an unsaved damage, but the guy uses his time slip because he's a fanatic, his final time slip. And that is that. The last person to activate is Miles, and he's not going to do anything. He has no offensive powers. So we won 4-2, which is exactly what the goal was, is that we win 5 games, and this is mission number 9, and we have won our 5th game. So if you want Miles and company to make it safely back to Leeler and earn her respect, and maybe even get a promotion for Miles for finding Luna, and you know, they've got stronger bonds as a group and whatnot, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, we can start with a brand new warband. I own, oh my god, probably 20 different warbands fully painted. So we could do any sort of warband you want. Matter of fact, if you want to give suggestions, if you don't want to see this warband continue and you're happy with this end result, then please suggest another faction that you might be interested, like, I don't know, Colgite Matrix, or Beast Kingdoms, or Oathsworn, or anything like that, and we might start a brand new campaign. So thank you very much for watching, and if you do want this campaign to be over, we're going to assume that old Miles here got back to his boss, and everything is just hunky-dory. Thanks for watching. You know, I wasn't going to do this portion of the home phase because I figured, well, we might be done with this campaign, but I better do it before it is not fresh in our memory. Well, I guess to commemorate this potential last mission, rolled absolute garbage for everybody's abilities. Several people leveled up. Dunch is now level 15 at 30 experience. So he gets a legendary trait for free. He is now immune to insanity, and that is just hunky-dory. So he rolled a 1 for his scavenging. Gil rolled a 1 for inspiring. I forget. Oh, recruiting I rolled a 1. Chemistry I rolled a 1. Can you believe 4 1s? 4 1s right in a row. And then I did roll a 9, so she's able to remove a injury, a negative stat modifier from someone. So we'll do that for Luna. In the meantime, I'm waiting very eagerly to find out what you guys want to do, whether or not we want to continue with this or start with another warband. Talk to you later.